Hi guys, welcome to the fascinating world of business analysis. In today's video, we'll discuss a technical concept, application programming interfaces or API. But before we dive in, hit the notification bell and subscribe to our channel to receive many more videos like this. Hi, I'm Sajana Binil. I'm the founder of Business Analysis Hub, the fastest growing community of business analysts here in India. And in today's video, we are going to talk about application programming interfaces. Well, if you're working as a functional business analyst, you might get a little overwhelmed when your technical team asks you to create something called as API documentation. Functional business analysts very well can handle API documentation. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how you as a functional business analyst can do API documentation with ease. Firstly, let's understand what APIs are. APIs are interfaces that allow different software systems to communicate and share information. They allow a seamless integration of various applications, services, and platforms. As a business analyst, it is very vital for you to understand what these APIs are because they serve as connecting links between different parts of the software system. Let's take the example of a student purchasing a course from an e-learning website. As soon as the student purchases the course, that means makes the payment system interfaces with the learning management system of the company to create an account for the student and enable course access. It also interacts with the student administration system to create a new record or entry for the student who has just registered for the course. It also interfaces with the email marketing tool of the company where automated emails are sent out to the student, informing the student about how he or she can access the course on the company portal. So you see in this case, different systems interface with each other to enable different levels of access, to share information and provide a seamless experience to the end customer. So, as I said, since these APIs act as connecting links between different parts of the software, it is very vital for us business analysts to know how they work. So if you're a business analyst who is working on an application that interfaces with several other systems to share information, then it is very vital for you to know APIs. Okay. And most of the applications nowadays are built in such a way that they are not working in silos. They're working in an integrated format and they need to share information with some system or the other. So let's see how a BA can process API documentation and provide it to the tech team. Now, what is API documentation? API documentation is a set of documents that describe how an API works, its endpoints, available methods, and the data it expects and returns. So the key components of API documentation. Take a note of this, guys. Key components of an API documentation include the endpoint URLs, the request methods used by the tech team, that might be get, post, put, delete, the parameters, response parameters, response data structures, and any authentication kind of requirements. Now you might ask me the question, where do I get all this information from? Well, if your tech team is going to write an API that's going to interface with another external system to pull out data, then your own tech team will provide you this information. Point number 3, how do you gather requirements for an API documentation? Well, the process of gathering requirements for an API documentation involves identifying the data and functionality that's required by the business and how an API can access that information. So for API documentation, your effective communication with the development team is very, very important. You can also create user stories for API documentation, by the way. Point number 4. Some of the best practices and tools for API include the following. Number 1, always use a document management system for storing all your API documentation. So have a proper document management system in place that can act as a central repository for the entire team to upload their documents as well as to view your documents. Number 2, have a proper version control mechanism in your project. Use a version control tool that will help you track changes to this API documentation on a regular basis. API documentation undergoes a lot of changes. So if you use a version control tool, it helps you keep a track on who did changes when. Even when you are not around, if your technical team has made changes to it, you will be able to view it when you come back. Also, you will get the facility to roll back to the previous version if you want to undo the changes that you recently made. So version control tool, very, very important when you are doing an API documentation. And also, there are a lot of API testing tools available in the market, guys. So use an appropriate testing tool which can check whether the API is taking in the right parameters, processing the information, and giving the right response or not before it starts interfacing with the actual application to share information. It is very essential your testing team does a couple of rounds of testing to see whether the API is giving the proper response back or not. So those are some of the best practices when it comes to writing an API documentation. Now take a look at the structure of an API document. If you want to download this template, click on the link in the description box and you will be able to download it and use it for your project. And before we wrap up, I want you to put in the comment box what are the 5 components of an API that I spoke about specifically in this video. Put it down, guys. I would also like to know your feedback and know how much this video has helped you. That's all for now. Thank you very much. I'll see you in my next video.